Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Shura Council forwards the Leaving Aquatic Resources draft law to the State Council. And more than 3.3 million tourists visit the Sultanate last year, with an increase by 3.5%. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has sent a cable of greetings to His Majesty King Carl the 16th Gustav of Sweden on his country's National Day. The Shura Council forwarded in its session today a report of a Food and Water Security Committee about the Leaving Aquatic Resources draft law to the State Council. The draft law came 66 articles in 9 chapters. It included definitions and general provisions, occupational fishing, coastal fishing and commercial fishing, in addition to pisciculture and activities related to leaving aquatic resources and monitoring of violations of the law. The Council also expressed its opinion on the view of Services and Social Development Committee on amendments of Air Transport Service Organization agreement between the Sultanate government and the government of Kuwait. The draft agreement of the air transport services between the Sultanate government and the government of Turkey and India, and draft agreement on air services between the Sultanate and Afghanistan. The session was chaired by His Excellency Khalid bin Hilal Al Ma'wali, Chairman of the Shura Council. 3.3 million tourists visited the Sultanate last year, with an increase by 3.5% compared to 2016. That was revealed by the Ministry of Tourism. The increase in the number of tourists reflects titles efforts of the Ministry of Tourism to promote hotel facilities in various governorates of the Sultanate in order to support the economic diversification policies and gross domestic product of the Sultanate. Tourist sector in the Sultanate achieves high growth rates due to the active economic movement and the opening of infrastructure projects like the new Muscat International Airport, Al Batna Expressway and facilities of Oman Convention and Exhibition Center. According to the statistics issued by the Ministry of Tourism, hotel establishment achieved a growth rate of 9%, an increase from 337 establishments in 2017 to 367 in 2017. The increase in the hotel establishments led by the local rooms to reach more than 20,000 rooms. The ministry last year granted in initial approval for 121 hotels establishments which accommodate more than 7,700 rooms. It also approved 721 licenses in various touristic activities. This comes within the ministry's long-term plan to increase the contribution of tourist sector to the Sultan's gross domestic product. Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry organized the 3rd Ramadan Real Estate Forum. It discussed ways to develop the performance of the real estate sector and challenges facing it amid economic changes. The forum also shed light on a number of real estate development projects. It also discussed the moral and ethical values required for those working in this sector. The event was presided over by His Excellency Sheikh Saif bin Mohammed Al Shabibi, Minister of Housing. Hosting specialists from the Ministry of Transport and Communications to discuss ways to develop the signboards at the main and service roads in the wilayas were discussed by the Municipal Council in the Governorate of South Batna during its regular meeting of the year. The Council also dealt with the outcome of the visit to Bia Company and services it will provide to upgrade the environment sector. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Sheikh Hilal bin Saeed Al Hagri, Governor of South Batna. Still to come in our news bulletin. The Dabba Club organizes the Holy Quran memorization competition for the 3rd consecutive year. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Credit balance granted by banking sector increased to 24.1 billion Omani riyals by the end of March 2018, recording an increase of 7.8% compared to the same period of 2017. A report issued by the Central Bank of Oman showed that the credit balance granted for the private sector witnessed an increase by 6.3% and reached 22.4 billion Omani riyals, while the total deposits in the banking sector recorded an increase of 4.1%. Unemployment index of the Ministry of Manpower indicated that 32,150 job seekers were employed in various private sectors establishments during the period from December 2017 to June 2018. The number of male job seekers who were employed reached 21,937, while the number of female job seekers who were appointed amounted to 10,215. The highest percentage of job seekers were employed at the construction, manufacturing, wholesale and retail trade sectors. The percentage of job seekers who were appointed at wholesale and retail trade sector reached 11.9%, while percentage of job seekers who were appointed at manufacturing sector reached 11%. Under the auspices of His Excellency Dr. Abdul Munim bin Mansour Lahsani, Minister of Information, The Answer, a book which narrates the late religious scholar Sheikh Khalfan Al-Isri, authored by broadcaster cum journalist Lakshmi Kotanath, was launched at the Oman Establishment for Press, Publication and Advertising. More details in the following report by Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rabai.
On a blessed Ramadan evening, the launching of a book titled The Answer took place last evening amid an excellent audience. The book, authored by Lakshmi Kotanath, broadcaster cum journalist, gives the reader a glimpse understanding of a wonderful human being, Sheikh Khalfan Al-Isri, an outstanding Omani religious scholar who remained on air for a number of years, presenting different important topics of humanity.
All Oman knows Sheikh Khalfan and his efforts, his beliefs, his encouragement for the youth, for not just for Omanis, but also for the people who lived here. He taught us about hope, and keep together, that we can do lots of things together.
The Authors Association with this scholar during the Oman radio program allowed the listeners to benefit from his preachings while recognizing and acknowledging the vast knowledge and experience that Sheikh Khalfan possessed. He spoke with ease and confidence in various interesting subjects, both spiritual and secular.
This book has always been in my mind. In fact, Sheikh Khalfan Al-Isri, God bless him, and we used to talk about different ways, means of reaching out to the public, and book was definitely there. So every episode of Body, Mind and Soul, or Life, a Journey, or Dialogue in Islam, it was always full of information. So this has been compiled. We were quite serious about it. So when you read the book, you can hear his work.
When you try to fulfill your duty, always try to focus on three things. Anyone who is employed, irrespective of where they are and how they are, my suggestion, you are there for only three reasons. Reason number one, you are there to develop yourself, to improve yourself in your experience, in your knowledge, in your skills. So always be selfish to find opportunities for that continuous learning.
That was Sheikh Khalfan blessed voice message delivered on Radio Sultanate of Oman.
My father, he was a man with the principles, and these principles were transferred into words, and these words get affected by people. So I believe that Lakshmi had a very good job in summarizing these principles, and she wrote a book about the answer. And I believe everybody who's searching for certain questions about my father will find the answer there.
Sheikh Khalfan's true devotion and his personal goodness made him extremely popular to both Muslims as well as those of other religious faiths. Multicultural management was his favorite subject. He concentrated upon among many other social topics. Indeed, Oman regards Sheikh Khalfan to be an envied scholar, and almost everyone affectionately joined the author of this informative literary composition, Mrs. Lakshmi, in wishing Sheikh Khalfan legacy continue. Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubai, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
Aiming at expanding and enhancing the power transmission and distribution networks in the Sultanate, Nama Group has commenced the third tranche of raising 453 million Omani Riyals. More details in the following report by Saleh bin Alfan Al-Rahbi.
453 million Omani Riyals is the amount of fund to be raised by Nama Group in order to meet the capital expenditure needs for expansion and enhancement of power transmission and distribution networks in the Sultanate over the next 3 years and to refinance short-term loans. Nama Group has floated an open tender to appoint a mandated lead arranger to raise this fund, which is the third tranche of its fundraising program called Project Lama, which was launched in 2014, through which it has successfully raised funds of 1.72 billion Oman Riyals across various funding sources. These plans in the electricity sector open up more opportunities for various Omani and international companies, including ENGIE, which announced its entry into competition for new projects in renewable energy and the construction of the largest desalination plant in the Sultanate, with a capacity of 295,000 cubic meters. ENGIE has also invested in 7 power and water projects in Oman, with a total investments exceeding $4 billion since 1995.
Our projects here in Oman is actually in 8 or 7 companies available. We are producing electricity and water for the country, and we are supplying this power through a long-term contract with OPWP, and this actually since 1995 we have projects in Oman. We are looking forward to see more projects in Oman, and these projects will be actually, we are very delighted to participate in it. If there is any opportunities, definitely the company will be available to participate in all the projects. There is renewables, there is other desalination plants coming on the pipelines, and we hope we will be also in these projects.
In light of this investment activity, the high demand for electricity, and the economic and population growth in the Sultanate, the government is planning to connect the south and north electricity networks with high voltage lines in order to increase the efficiency of the networks, enhance their ability to deal with emergencies, and reduce fuel consumption in power generation process. Nama Group and Petroleum Development Oman (PDO) have completed the study of this project, which is estimated to cost $500 million Omani Riyals, and it is expected to be completed within 5 years from the start of its implementation. For the Sultanate of Oman Television, Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi, Muscat.
The Dabba Club in the Governorate of Musandam organized the Holy Quran memorization competition for the 3rd consecutive year. The competition included 4 levels, and the number of participants reached more than 100. It was accompanied by a number of activities and witnessed a wide participation from members of the community. The competition aimed to encourage the children and memorize and recite the Holy Quran, as well as follow its teachings. Here are the Ramadan times for tomorrow. Fajr prayers at 3:53 a.m. and Maghrib prayers at 6:56 p.m. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we enter tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Shura Council forwards the Living Aquatic Resources draft law to the State Council. And more than 3.3 million tourists visit the Sultanate last year, with an increase by 3.5%. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the studios and the newsroom, it's good night.